Hello and welcome to Pandora FMS. In today's video, we will show you how to create your own visual console in Pandora FMS. We will see the options it offers when adding and editing elements and how they will be displayed. We will start by going to the Visual Console section within the menu. Here we will find a list of all the consoles that we have created and the option to add a new one. Clicking here will open a screen where you will configure the name of the visual console, the group it will belong to, and you will be able to set a background image or those that are already uploaded in Pandora FMS. But you may also upload an image stored on your computer. If you don't choose to add a background image, you may set a color. Last, we will have the possibility to choose the size of this console we have and if we want to set it as favorite. This last option generates a new submenu, as you see on screen, in which those that have this token checked are displayed. Once inside your visual console, you will find a menu at the top right with different options. Start by using the editor, which is represented by a token with the option to enable and disable, and which will allow you to edit your console by adding, modifying, or removing items of different types. When in editing mode, a series of options appear to add different types of elements that will make up the visual console. For your view to be like the one shown in this video, bear in mind that Pandora FMS version must be higher than 743 and that in the Visual Styles configuration menu, the view token of the console legacy view must be disabled. The first one we find is a static image. This type of element gives us the option of adding an image that is shown in 4 possible states and colors: critical, normal, warning, and unknown. Respectively, we see on screen the colors red, green, yellow, and gray. Depending on the status of the module agent or map, one image or another is displayed. We will skip some items that we will leave for the end, and we have the simple value, which allows us to show the value of a module in real time on the visual console. The next element that we're going to see is the icon. It is very similar to the static image, except for that the selected icon will always appear in gray, as if it were unknown. Icons that do not have status information are often used. A simple image, like a logo for example. Next to the previous icon, you may place a tag next to it, for example. These items allow us to add text without associated content. It may contain text and HTML code, allowing you to create an internal link or other advanced options. You may also have the option of adding a dynamic timer. It could be both analog and digital. You can select the time zone you want, and you can define whether to show only the time or the date and time. The group icon helps you represent the status of a complete group through one of the icons or images that you have in the configuration. In addition, you may only show this image or enable the Show Statistics token to show the information in the 4 main status of Pandora FMS: normal, critical, warning, and unknown. Next, we find 2 items that are boxes and lines. If we can't upload a custom background image, this is a simple but effective way to create sections or departments to organize items or make it more visually appealing if we don't like a single color background. The next element we see is the color cloud. With this, we will be able to represent blur clouds of color that depend on the value of the assigned module, and which is also known as heat maps. Through configuration, you may create value ranges, for now only numerical. When the value of the selected module is between the range values, limits included, the chosen color of that range will be used for the element. If no range is met, the default color will be used. The last possibility that appears in this bar is the option to include a service in our visual console. With this, we can see the current status of a service, also indicating the SLA compliance percentage in real time. You may choose an image to represent the status of the entire service that will change color according to the conditions configuring the service itself. To finish looking at all the elements that we have to add to the visual consoles, we're going to see those that we skipped at the beginning. The percentile element allows us to show the status of a module in percentage by defining minimum and maximum values. Module graphs are used to see a graph in real time. You may choose between the graphs of an ordinary data module or a custom graph that we may have already created. You may also use the serialized pie chart and bar chart elements to create charts based on some modules that you will have previously created in the agents and that will be of the string type with a specific format. To create a model with this data, it is recommended to do it with an agent plugin. The event history graph item will allow you to add a horizontal bar similar to the one found in the agents view, in which the events that took place in a module in the last 24 hours will be displayed. Next, we're going to add a few different elements to see some examples. We will start with a static image. In the configuration, you may choose the agent and a module to represent or link the image to the entire agent, so that when one of the modules is not in normal state, the item will represent that state change. You may also make the last value of the module to be displayed when hovering the mouse over the image or link it to another visual console. In general options, you may give it a size and frame it in the position you wish by setting the values in the X and Y fields. In addition to establishing a relation with another element of the console that would work as parent, restrict access to a specific group and customize the refreshing time of the cache. We also see a couple of tokens that we can enable and disable. The first one will make the item link with the visual console or selected element, and the second offers the possibility of placing the item in the foreground or background in the visual console. Finally, in the top tag settings, you may add a text or link giving it format and size to accompany the item, in addition to being able to place this label in one of the 4 positions that we want around the element. With these steps, we would have this first item configured. To continue, you may create a graph. You have the option of it being on a module or taking one that you already have created in the custom graphics section. So in this case, we will take the latter. We will configure the background color of the graph. Select it, specify the period to be displayed, and we will be able to configure the rest of the fields as we have seen in the previous item. Once configured, click on OK and the graph is uploaded. We also include an element that is a timer so that it is displayed in the header and we adjust the features that we want and the size. We're also going to add some elements that combine the use of an icon, a label, and a simple value to show some forms of data representation. This will be a small example of how to build a background that we add inside, in addition to the background image of the visual console, a list of information such as the status of Pandora FMS server, the database, or the number of files within a directory. Finally, in this console, we're going to add a representation of a service configured in Pandora FMS. Just add the item, select the image that will represent it, and reference it to the service that you will have previously created. As in other cases, you may configure the general aspects of the tag in the tabs devoted to that end. Now we're going to change to another console where we see a representation of the heat maps that we discussed earlier and that are configured within the following item. Here, as in the other previously seen, we will choose agent and module to reference. In the interval section, we can configure the colors for the different temperature ranges that we may have, and we will add them. That way, we'll show the color according to the degrees reached. Once our visual consoles are configured, we can display them in full screen and configure the refreshing time. Delete and duplicate the elements with the following buttons. Get a QR code to distribute the public link to the console. Check and modify a list of the data that we have of the elements of the visual console. Also modify if you want the details of the console itself, such as the name, the background image, or the size. And another item that will take us to the list of all the visual consoles created in Pandora FMS environment. Saying that we can have multiple visual consoles configured, we can add the possibility of linking some consoles with others. With this, we managed to expand the possibilities of operating with the consoles and referencing some elements with others. This option will allow you to link an element of a visual console with another that will show you more detailed elements. For example, several embedded consoles such as a representation of your headquarters within a country, continent, or in the world. For that item to refer to a lower console where we are representing different information from different points within Spain, and that at the same time we access that of Madrid and see data from 4 cities. If you click inside Madrid, you will get at a visual console that represents the state of the facilities with a heat map. As it has been seen, high temperature on one of the sectors has caused the state to be critical, scaling this state to the upper consoles and allowing to visually identify any setback quickly and easily. And that was it for today's video. Do not forget it, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Remember that if you're interested in trying Pandora FMS Enterprise, you may contact us to get a free 30-day trial. Thank you very much for your time, and we hope to see you on social media and in future learning videos.